Welcome back everyone to Paddling Pool 225. We are in the final 8 in this tournament. 64 teams signed up for this, 8 teams left. And next up we have KGC versus Slander. This is Conroe and I am still joined by Chili.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Two brilliant teams here, very good rosters. Henlu has just immediately stood out to me on Slander because I seen them just do absolute nightmare things with a Splatana wiper, but yeah, KGC's roster absolutely filthy as well, so yet more kind of high caliber gameplay coming up. We are moving into the phase of the tournament where counter picks are introduced, so Splat Zone's Mako Mart is going to kick us off, but then the losing team will have an opportunity to counter pick and regain some momentum. So even though we're still in best of 3 territory for one more set, counter picks do give a bit more room for the losing team to respond.
Yeah, the losing team will have choice of the map and the mode in round 2. Don't often see a counter pick 3-game set. That'll be interesting for me. I've not really seen that very much, but we are going to start with Mako Mart zones for this one, as we see what these teams bring. Quite a frontline comp there from Slander coming out. Wiper again from Henlo with a lot of missiles likely. Gao, Splash, and Tri Nouveau. And the other team does have a backline. They have a ballpoint. So plenty of inkjets coming out, I'm sure, and a slosher as well. And of course a zap, so I'm not sure if Slander will like that or not.
Yeah, I think they're going to be feeling quite distressed, or maybe they'll just become really aggressive and bully Abito specifically for picking that. But yeah, going to see a lot of scrappy firefighting, I think, with these compositions, and I'm all for that. So it's starting off with a number of trades. Both teams have had a quick cap on the zone, but not really made much headway. So yeah, about half a minute in, and so far teams just feeling each other out, threatening each other, throwing out hitboxes. But KGC here getting 3 down at one point there, so the first chance to progress into enemy territory.
Yeah, they're immediately going to pressure this last player who does get a pick. They go down as well though. So Slander need to try and come back in together. They've almost got a crab tank ready to go, which will definitely help that. Looks like Caller's out for KGC though, so even if they get splattered, they'll be back pretty soon. Out comes the crab tank. The zap goes down, and they are, of course, back straight away. They've almost capped the zone at least. There is the zone going back to Slander. Penalty time for KGC. Not quite taking control yet, although they have taken out the ballpoint, so they will probably try and push off that. They've lost a Gao. It's still pretty neutral for now. They've lost 2, they've lost 3, and they could lose 4, and that is a wipeout. KGC responding straight away. They don't really let Slander get past the zone at all, and Slander again on the back foot.
Yeah, I feel like KGC matching the kind of aggressive pace that they would need to kind of keep Slander at bay, really. You're not going to want a composition like that get any breathing room or get that kind of cooler up, because as you say, tactical, especially after the buffs, it's kind of blink and people are back in action, so trades just end up being quite trivial and recovery ends up being quite easy. But KGC extending the lead here. They did get a penalty that's been quite hefty, so they're doing what they can to work that off. They have made some progress. Trades out the wazoo coming in again, but KGC look like they're winning the majority of engagement, so they're going to be able to hold. They're going to chip a remainder of that penalty down, and Slander getting scattered here, really getting kind of forced into very uncomfortable positions and losing some territory in the process.
Yeah, the Slander almost lost everyone there. The Wiper doing a good job of staying alive. They had cooler effects. They kind of stayed out of the way just to distract KGC, help them out a little bit. They do need to get some picks here, though, and get the zone back. KGC, their timer is ticking down. They're down to 29. They have the zone again, and 2 players down for Slander. They have a crab, at least, who does take out the ballpoint. Can they get a second? Yes, they can. They need to stay alive, though. They've done what they can, but they get taken out, and Slander are just losing too many players here to do anything to the zone. It's just signups, and they're going to get taken out by the inkjet. Solid game 1 from KGC, and they are 1-0 up.
Yeah, there was a comment in chat about KGC's roster being quite something, and I think you got a showcase there as to why they are all terrifying, players, well versed in the scene, and yeah, just a very solid game from them. A couple of kind of moments of hope for Slander, definitely. Managing to get moments where they got picks or started to gain some momentum, but as you say, I think they just lost a few too many engagements. They didn't really have that position where they got enough of a numbers advantage for an extended amount of time to really make meaningful progress with the map, and that just allowed KGC to recover so efficiently each time. Very action-packed match, which was good to see, and I'll be interested in where Slander take us in response.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think the fact that KGC had a ballpoint as well. Zapslander didn't have too much for the ballpoint. They didn't have too much range. They did have, a wiper deco that has missiles, but ballpoint is quite kind of a fast backline. They can run pretty fast, so I don't think missiles would actually do much to them. But yeah, Zapslander do have the counter pick now. We were discussing before the match if Zapslander would be pro Zap or against that, kind of a ironic name, but it looks like they're against it because they brought a Tri Nouveau there, and they were against the Zap, which they probably didn't like. They're probably not going to like it from tomorrow either, where the new patch might give us a little kind of zapper shot renaissance, because they're doing some interesting things to splatter shot and zap and Trizuka as well. So this is the last tournament on this patch, at least.
Yeah, and it's been so long since we've had a shooter meta that we really needed to address that with these patch notes. But yeah, I mean there has been an increase in Zap slander in general in the community. I think since it has gained more prominence for the through that kind of tactical engine that has been so present in offensive teams. And I guess you will share some of the pain Comro in the patch notes in the sense that the Tri Nouveau got slapped, but the NZAP didn't in terms of tactical charging time. So I know there was further disdain for that decision. So it's an interesting one. And speaking of interesting, we're going to Clan Blitz on Scorch Gorge of all places. That is an interesting counter pick choice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can see why they would do it if they're going to stick to the kind of comp they just ran with the 4 kind of front lines. I feel like you can rush them down quite well here, especially if you do have Cooler. You can get past the grates at the top really quickly if you do want someone going that way, and normally people do. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how this one goes. Of course, counter picks, but this is a best of 3 still, so Zapslander do have to win 2 in a row. They'll have to win their own counter pick here, and then the other team, KGC's counter pick, in the next game. But will they change their comp? I'm interested to see if they'll bring something with a little bit longer range here.
Yeah, and they took their time to decide to go here, so that makes me think there's definitely a heavy duty thought process behind it. They probably thought about the kind of composition that KGC brought and how that last game went, and must have something in mind to try and kind of address how they played that last game, because it was a really rough one for them. So yeah, this will be very interesting. I was gonna say, did you know Scorch Gorge is like Inkblot? But I don't have ASET's talent to then come up with a reason that sounds genuinely compelling as to why it is like Inkblot. So I'm just gonna leave that thought process there.
You drop from plat to the bottom and big tower in middle. The big
tower in middle. That's it.
Big structure in middle.
4 words is all I needed. Thank you, Conroy, for the assist there. Composition-wise, a bamboo on KGC.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting. Changing from ballpoint, obviously, yeah, it is the same player. From ballpoint to bamboo. And, well, they've gone down straight away. I was going to say that'll be, let's see how that goes for them. Not a good start, at least. It's 2v2 here. A lot of picks coming out straight away. And it is Zapslander trying to get a pick here. Henlo moving really fast on the wiper. Can they get this pick? No, they can't. That's a solid splat from Benny GT, and they're going to get the crab out straight away. That player is so weak, and they will go down as well. And this crab tank is going to move up and add so much pressure. A lot of splats there from Benny GT there. And immediately, this is kind of turned around. It looked like Zapslander might get some control there, but KGC suddenly with all the picks, and they're generally in control of mid here.
And this is what they did last time. They edged out the wins in engagements and just gradually took more and more ground away. So we'll see how that plays out. They don't have the static objective to give them momentum from that this time. They're going to have to make some progress into Zapslander's territory, which could be quite hard as they're still using a tactical fueled composition themselves, but we'll have to see. I did really enjoy that Benny versus Henley 1v1 as well, because it's very often you see a one-to-one non-interrupted kind of engagement, and that was it was just quite nice to see the thought process in terms of how people move. But Zapslander gonna go and just run for it with all players up on either side and get an initial push. So I'm not sure if they'll be able to really get many more points going from this. KGC responding very quickly to get 2 players down, but at least forcing a position where KGC are going to have to go on the offensive here.
Yeah, Zapslander were getting the picks there. They, I think KGC were back, but they were kind of coming from spawn. So Zapslander able to get a power clam and get some points on the board. Synapse quite wisely just didn't force. I think they were holding on to a few clans. They didn't force them in. They stayed alive with the Gal. It can be quite good at just holding them back, at least until your teammates come back in. Sadly, Synapse has gone down with the Gal, as has Henlo. So that's 4v2. And KGC have the clams ready to go. It can be quite hard to set up a push on this map. You need to make sure they are not over there on the right anywhere, or going to flank you from the left. And they're just waiting to get the players out of the way, get rid of them essentially, go in with some specials. No specials ready yet, but I'm sure it won't be long. All the players are alive. It is on KGC to form a push. Out comes the triple link strike. They're going to try and push in with this. They've lost the player, and that was not a trade. Synapse stayed alive there. But Zapslander have lost 2. Can KGC push in here?
They're doing everything they can. I did like where they set up the tactical to be able to then make those more risky engagements and recover if it went a bit wrong. But like you said, Zapslander responding in kind, doing what they could to apply pressure without losing too many players, maybe learning from their mistakes of the previous game. And they have really made KGC work for this. They've actually made the decision to retreat and set up a bit differently. Still 2 players down aside, so it's still relatively even looking game. And it's been a good minute and a bit, and KGC still on this same push attempt, and it's part of the map, but I also think it's just part Zapslander's really smart defending. Like, they haven't really given KGC that big opportunity to make meaningful progress.
Yeah, it's very neutral. There are picks coming out, but nothing can be done with it. So many tacticalers coming out as well, so if anyone gets spotted, they're probably not out of the game for long. But KGC, they are doing well at just, holding the power clams. They're not forcing anything, but they do at some point just need to get these picks. The Bamboo is doing what they can. 2 down for Zapslander, and they are not in a good position either. That is 1 left on the team. I think it's the Gal, so they might be able to... No, it's not the Gal, it's the Splash, and they do score, KGC, and they are going to take the lead, and they're still going to bring the clams in. Zapslander trying to set up some defense. KGC might not actually get in there. Zapslander have done a good job of coming back. The Gal... 2 more in for Mobito though, so they do push it down to 62, but now everyone else is retreating. They have at least taken the lead. This could be a counter push though if they keep losing players. Zapslander need to quickly get some clams and form a push, but their players down. I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they got 3 plays down from KGC there, but they're going to have more than enough time to recover, I think, before that push happens. We're getting a super jump with the power clamp to try and make something happen, but with all of KGC alive, and also seeing the Bamboozler pick coming into effect a bit more here, just threatening just damage from such a kind of safe position.
The missiles.
Yeah, the missiles are going to be the best opportunity to make it happen, but Obito, beautifully positioned, getting 2 down there before being stopped, so Zapslander in a challenging position. That power clam is going to expire, and with 2 plays down and 30 seconds on the clock, Zapslander on the back foot, and very, very little time to get another opportunity going.
Oh, that was lovely defense there from KGC. The missiles came in. I thought Zapslander would just be able to push on that, but I think it was Obito that got 2, and then the teammates cleaned up as well. Zapslander, this is probably going to go to overtime. Oh, another 2 down as well. They have a power clam, but I think it's going to be KGC that are going to force the issue here. They have plenty of clams. Zapslander have lost another player. Out come the missiles just to try and stop KGC and make something happen. KGC have cooler effects now as well, so even if they get spotted, they're going to come straight back. They need the picks now, Zapslander. That timer is going down. It's already over halfway. The power clam carrier goes down. It's just the tri-slosher, and I think this is going to be the game. It's a wipeout for Zapslander. KGC are going to take this 2-0 and advance to the semi-finals.
Can I just say as well, Benny, that was disgusting. That was such beautiful split-second decision making to get those offensive picks there at the end to secure that. But I mean, just in general, I think credit to both teams for some really solid defensive decision making for a long portion of that game. Like lots of moments where things could have become far scarier pushes than they did, just because people were positioning quite well and threatening damage without overextending. KGC doing what they needed to do to take that there at the end and edging out Zapslander. But I think it was a good counter pick choice. It certainly made for an engaging match, and I imagine they're not very used to seeing a Bamboo played at that level of playing competitive, so that kind of quite niche choice as well, coming in clutch there.
Yeah, definitely. It was a solid pick, though, in the end. They got taken out at the end, but at the start, I mean. But after that, it was really nice Bamboo plays coming out from Jay there. And yeah, as you said, both teams just really good defensively there. Scorch, Gorge can be quite difficult to push. It's quite a little choke point where the basket is. Of course, you can go over the grates on the left, but you're really exposed if you do that. So, you know, I think only both teams just broke open the basket once, and after that, that's all they did. But it was KGC that got more clams in for theirs, and yeah, really good defense from them. It did look like Zap Slander might have got another push in with the missiles, but Obito getting a solid double, and I think Jay picked off a third with the bamboo as well, and that put an end to that. And yeah, no more scoring after that, so well done to KGC for advancing to the semi-finals. And yeah, we'll go to a quick break now. We'll be back for the semi-finals in a short while, so we'll see everyone in a bit.
See you soon, folks.